correctness
Amener les objets à l'intérieur rapidement.
Political party
Tu es là. Ne la laissez pas approcher de la cargaison.
Let me give you a very clear example.
S'il vous plaît.
You have in the United States, you have the Democrats and you have the Republicans. Sometimes you see the Republicans voting in favor of the Democrats. But also in London, in the parliament, you have the conservatives, you have the Labour.
Le Japon est en sécurité. Mission terminée.
Elle est trop forte.
Lieutenant Tanaka. Les suspects se déplacent. Confirmez le contact visuel.
Among themselves within the house.
Amenez les
Would
objets
you so
à l'intérieur
say that
rapidement.
that is a spoiler's move? No, it isn't. Let me give you another
Ne la laissez pas approcher
instance.
de la cargaison.
Now, this same group, I don't want to mention the governor's name anymore so that you don't let us waste too much time on that. This other group,
Les explosifs sont
okay,
sous contrôle.
Le Japon
they
est
were
terminé.
the leaders
Elle est trop forte.
of
Lieutenant
the
Tanaka.
G5.
Les suspects
They were the ones that created a situation
se déplacent. Confirmez
where
le
they,
contact.
whereby
Amenez les objets à
the
l'intérieur rapidement.
party lost that election.
Tu es là.
Now, for
Ne
obvious
la laissez
reasons,
pas approcher de la
let us say the reasons were, yes, it was the choice of, it was the time for the South. It wasn't the time for the North. And all that. But let me say something about the other side, which I belong to, and which I am familiar with, which I know,
Lieutenant Tanaka
and which
accomplit avec
I
succès.
believe
Les explosifs sont sous
is the truth. Now,
contrôle.
Governor Wike was a presidential aspirant. Governor Wike was a sitting governor. Governor Wike was the governor among all governors.
rapidement.
I can take you
Ne la laissez pas approcher
to
de la
any
cargaison.
level,
Inutile.
fact check it.
Au Japon.
He contributed close to
Tanaka
60%
accomplit avec
of whatever was expended in the PDP.
Mission terminée.
You understand? Now,
Les suspects.
he also vied for the president.
Tu es là.
He did not win.
Ne la laissez pas approcher de la cargaison.
However, we found out later how he didn't win. But that is bygone is bygone. You
Tu
understand?
survivras pour
Now,
faire
he
face à la
did not
justice
win,
au Japon.
but he
Lieutenant Tanaka,
accepted,
la mission
which
est
he
accomplie
had
avec
said
succès. Les explosifs
before
sont sous
the
contrôle.
Le
primaries.
Japon est en sécurité.
He
Mission
accepted.
terminée.
And
trop fort.
when it came to the table, it was negotiated that the party, not Wike, not anybody, the party should go and pick a vice president
Ne la laissez pas
for
approcher de la cargaison.
Atiku. The party wrote a letter.
S'il vous plaît, ne me
I
tuez pas.
saw the letter. I'm a state
Tu
chairman.
survivras pour faire
I
face à
saw
la
the
justice
letter.
au Japon.
The party wrote a letter with
Lieutenant
Governor
Tanaka,
Wike's name
la
as
mission est
number
accomplie
one
avec
pick.
succès. Les explosifs sont sous contrôle.
Le Japon est en
Number
sécurité.
one pick.
Mission terminée.
When it came out,
Lieutenant Tanaka.
Governor Croix
Les
is
suspects
my
se
very
déplacent.
close
Confirmez
friend.
Le contact visuel.
okay?
Objectif
When
confirmé.
the time came up and Governor Wike lost that election, Atiku saw him, they agreed, they did everything. Whatever happened after that was a different
Tu survivras pour faire face à la justice au Japon.
decision.
Lieutenant
Governor
Tanaka,
Wike
Mr. Dohatsu, because of time, I will need to butt in so that if you can answer me as quickly so that I can ask you as many questions as possible. I'm listening to you. Very strong points you've raised as a matter of fact. But the point,
talk really quick.
yes, just hold on. But the
Yes,
point,
let's get to the point.
in 2 seconds, if you can, in 10 seconds, so that I can ask my next
Yes,
question.
let me get to the point. The point is this.
C'est inutile.
Governor Wike was shortchanged. At the end of the day, he still worked with the party up to the point where everything that was agreed was jettisoned. Which Seyi Makinde also said, Governor Seyi Makinde also said in his interview. You understand? And they decided to part.
Objectif confirmé.
Okay? Now, once they parted, okay, why would we in PDP, with the sitting BOTs, allow a sitting governor or a governor that has contributed so
Tu
much
survivras pour faire face à
to
la justice
leave
au
the
Japon.
party for the opposition to
Lieutenant
take?
Tanaka,
They
la
were
mission est
smart.
accomplie avec
They
succès.
took it.
Les explosifs
Now,
sont sous contrôle.
is Governor Wike weakening the party?
Elle est trop
I
forte.
don't think that he's weakening the party. Let me tell you why also. The reason why I'm saying this
Objectif
is that
confirmé. Genre,
he has been given a position, and at that position as minister, he has been able to work for other PDP members to get other positions.
All right, Mr. Doherty, let me come in here. I don't know, the debate with politicians can be quite interesting. I don't know what else is anti-party working against your party or however you want to. Whether it's Makinde and if G5 and Wike that carried it, it was clearly anti-party active. There was a just hold on. These are available facts. I'm not saying something that was not there. They came out, they are members of a political party, and the G5 said, look, this thing has to stay in the South. It's only fair that this thing stays in the South. This position stays in the South. So we have to keep it in the South. And they worked against their party. That was classic anti-party activity. Now that seems to be happening again. Now, where I'm going to meet my question is, now the party is at the point where INEC had to, in their discretion, say, look, guys, let's come to the table. What exactly is going on? Too many correspondence from factions. Is there a way we can work this out? It didn't look like there was anything coming out. Then the Turaki's group wrote a letter trying to get their names on the website and clearly recognize them. But INEC wrote and said, look, there are two subsisting judgments. There's a motion on appeal. Pending when that is determined, we're not going to talk to anyone. So it looks like this is a stalemate. So where does the party go from here?
Well, it looks as if you even have more information. You really don't need me on this channel to even talk at all, because it looks as if you have your mind made up on a lot of things.
No, Mr. Doherty, no. Just so that we are clear, I just built a case. There was a G5. No, just hold on. Just hold on, Mr. Doherty. We're having a conversation, so we understand ourselves. I said, G5, we know what they did, and we know what is going on now. And then INEC had called everybody to say, let there be a way forward as a political party. It seemed that there was no way forward. One group wrote to INEC saying, you have to recognize me because I'm the authentic leader. INEC said, no, there's a judgment against you, and there's a motion on notice on the appeal. And so it looks like there's a stalemate. And I asked, what is the way forward? So what exactly is I'm stating facts here.
You are not speaking facts because you are not there. You understand? Let me explain to you.
Okay, go ahead.
Turaki was writing INEC. We didn't call to meet INEC. Turaki was the one that wrote severally to meet INEC. Okay? Now, the INEC chairman, in his own wisdom, decided to call both parties. Now, immediately we walked in, we could see the faces of Turaki that they were not happy. You understand? Okay, we walked in. The INEC chairman let us talk, and Turaki spoke and everything. You understand? And the INEC chairman had to caution Turaki and told him that, look, you are sending so many letters to us, blah, blah, blah. We don't have you in our books. At least not yet. So we can't even treat any of your letters. So it's better you stop writing these letters to us, because we don't even have your name in our books. We haven't written, and the only person that has written to INEC on behalf of our own side is Anyanwu, who is the National Secretary. Now, Damagu could not write INEC again because Damagu had resigned from his position to hand over to Turaki during their purported convention. You understand? That is just the plain truth. And the INEC chairman did not say that, Abdurrahman and your group are the authentic ones, or it's Turaki that's authentic. And we did not go there to ask that. All he tried to clarify is that the right person should write them, not the wrong person. And Turaki asked why, which is natural. And he said, the reason is this. One, you have two final judgments from the Federal High Court who have jurisdiction over them. The judgment that you are looking at was an ex parte order which has a lifeline of 7 days. You extended it for another 7 days so that you can conduct this Congress. But that Congress
Les suspects se
Okay?
déplacent. Confirmé.
You even
Le
took
contact
us to court
Objectif
in
confirmé.
that
Genre,
ex
Amener
parte
les objets
order.
à l'intérieur. Inutile.
Now, you have also gone.
tu survivras
After
pour
we
faire
told
face à la
you
justice.
that the High Court does not have jurisdiction over us, you have
La mise
also
est
gone
accomplie,
to
explosif.
ask the court to go back to that judgment
Objectif
and
confirmé.
withdraw
Genre.
INEC from it. That kills that judgment. It kills it naturally.
Ne la laissez pas
Because
approcher de la
then
cargaison.
you should have asked for
C'est inutile.
an amendment
Tu
by
survivras
way
pour faire
of
face à la justice au
request
Japon.
to the court before you even do that
Lieutenant
amendment,
Tanaka,
before
la
you
mission
even
est accomplie
ask
avec succès.
for the
Les explosifs
ex parte
sont sous
order,
contrôle.
because
Le
the
Japon en
other
sécurité.
side
Ils sont terminés.
would not have been
Elle est trop
served.
forte.
So
Lieutenant
nobody
Tanaka.
can
Les
say
suspects se déplacent.
that
Confirmé. Le contact
Abdurrahman or
Objectif
Wike
confirmé.
or anybody,
Amener les
including
objets à
myself,
l'intérieur rapidement.
we are not saying, oh, we are the ones on top.
Tu es là.
We are the ones. No,
Ne la
we
laissez pas
still
approcher
have
de
an
la cargaison.
appeal. We still have a Supreme Court. Do you understand? So we still have the appeal court.
Tu
So
survivras
at the
pour
end
faire
of
face à
the
la
day,
justice au Japon.
Mr.
those
Duarte,
judgments are still going to
Lieutenant
come.
Tanaka,
My,
la
Mr.
mission
Duarte,
est
my
accomplie
apologies
avec
because of
succès.
time. We're
Les
going on a
explosifs
commercial.
sont sous
I'm told we're in bid for a
Le
commercial, but
Japon
I'll
est en
hold you
sécurité.
for a
Ils sont
few more
terminés.
minutes
Elle est trop forte.
because the whole idea at the end of this
Lieutenant
conversation
Tanaka,
is to
les
see
déplace.
whether there will be a way
Confirmé.
forward for the
Le
party.
contact
Time is
visuel.
of the
Confirmé.
essence.
Amener les objets à l'intérieur
Two
rapidement.
off-cycle elections are coming. And that's
là.
important as a political
laissez pas approcher
party.
de la
I'm sure
cargaison.
you understand. So this is why we're having this
C'est inutile.
conversation. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Tu survivras pour faire face à la justice au Japon.
Welcome back. My guest is Mr. Adeliji Doherty, is the Deputy National Secretary, National Caretaker Committee of the People's Democratic Party. Mr. Doherty, thank you for staying with us on the program. Let's begin to look at the way forward here. And the way forward, by that I mean, time is of the essence. Osun State, perhaps because of all that is going on, the governor has left and has joined a court party. So I don't know what's going to happen as far as the PDP is concerned. Nigerians are wondering as well, Ekiti State as well, what is going to happen, because these are the immediate off-cycle elections that will be taking place ahead of the big one in 2027. I just did a quick roll count. I hope my numbers are correct, but from the numbers I have, if you add the first 5 that left the PDP just before they joined the APC, that's Amechi Group and the rest, till date, about 16 PDP governors have left the PDP to the APC majorly, and then I think our court party. What's the way forward?
Lieutenant Tanaka,
You know, thank you very much. I would like to address two things here. Okay, and one will be this so high respect we all give governors on the on the air and everything. You understand? I remember, you know, Joe Biden. He was being called Sleepy Joe on TV many times, and the moderator never said, no, don't say this, don't say that. You understand? But it happens in Nigeria. So I'll talk to other journalists about this, really, because we that try to contest are supposed to be looked at as servants to the people. They are not lords over us. You understand? I ran for governor. I've run for governor 3-4 times. You understand? Well before the governor of Oyo State even came into politics. You understand? So that is by the side. Now, let's go back to the main issues. You understand? Now, when you're looking for a way out of this, I've already said this in the beginning. You understand? We need to get our house straightened. Our internal democracy has to be fact-checked, has to be stringent for us to be able to deliver the dividends of democracy to our people, which is the Nigerian populace. And with all due respect, right, and with all due consideration to the Nigerian people, the only thing I can do right now is to apologize on behalf of our party to the Nigerian people, because we all are suffering whatever it is. You understand? Even though Nigeria is going through a structural adjustment program, if you talk to some people in the business world, they will tell you that Bola Tinubu is doing well. If you talk to the man on the street, they will tell you no, he's not doing well. You know, so there are mixed feelings, but when there's structural adjustment program in a country, definitely it will bite. However, at the same time, it is the back-to-back, you understand, templates that this government is using is what's making it more difficult to endure. Now, what is the way forward? The way forward is going to be this, and I'll be very honest with you. Okay? I'll be very honest with you. It's the door of having a truce is closing as the minute goes by. And it is due to the high-handed, the unguarded retreat of the governor of Oyo State and the purported chairman that came out of that convention. And I told him at the meeting, that's the national chairman from the convention. And I told Turaki this. I said, one of the reasons why it's going to be difficult for us to sit with you is your retreat. And this delusion that you are the national chairman. Now, this has happened. The INEC is telling you right in front of all of us that you should stop writing them because you don't have the authority to do so. Now, let us bring that to a halt.
We just have about 10 seconds. We can land here.
Now we can now sit, right? You see our leader, which is Governor Wiki. You can see him. He and Sheyi Makinde need to sit. Let them talk. Let them do whatever they're going to do. Okay? And then stop this high retreat.
Okay.
You understand? Verbal.
All right, Mr. Duhati, interesting days ahead for your party, and I think it's an ongoing conversation we will continue to have because we need to have a viable, formidable opposition for democracy to thrive. But I must thank you. Mr. Adedeji Duhati is the Deputy National Secretary of the National Caretaker Committee.
Can I say something quickly?
We're totally out of time. Out of time. My apologies, sir.
Can I say something? It doesn't mean that you must have an opposition. It doesn't mean democracy doesn't mean you have that's your point of view, but we know democracy thrives with formidable opposition. But I must thank you. We'll take a break. When we come back, I'll be speaking with the senior advocate of Nigeria. Stay with us.
Confirmer le contact visuel.
Objectif confirmé. J'entre.
Amener à l'intérieur rapidement. Tu es là. Ne la laissez pas approcher de la cargaison. Ne me tuez pas.
Tu survivras pour faire face à la justice au Japon. Lieutenant Tanaka, la mission est accomplie avec succès. Les explosifs sont sous contrôle.
Le Japon est en sécurité. Mission terminée.
Elle est trop forte.
Lieutenant Tanaka, les suspects se déplacent. Confirmez le contact visuel.
Objectif confirmé. J'entre.
Amenez les objets à l'intérieur rapidement. Tu es là. Ne la laissez pas approcher de la cargaison. C'est inutile.
Let's begin that conversation, as you said, with Farouk Aliyu, who is a former minority leader, House of Representatives. He joins us from our studio in Kano. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Les explosifs sont sous contrôle.
Le Japon est en sécurité. Mission terminée.
Elle est trop forte.
Lieutenant Tanaka, les suspects se déplacent.
You must have
Objectif
listened to
confirmé.
some of the comments
Amenez les objets à
by
l'intérieur
Governor
rapidement.
Makinde. Which one stands out
Tu es là.
to you?
Ne la laissez pas approcher de la cargaison.
Well, the shocking revelation that both of them, I think, like the G5, A5, were out to probably destroy the party. And these are things that a lot of Nigerians were suspecting. Now he has spilled the bean, and now everybody knows that there is no hand of APC in this. It's all their machinations. That's what they wanted to do. And so it's shocking and really it's so disappointing, the Nigerian politicians can do these kind of things that he's coming about with. So if you look at it, it's all about selfish interests. What's best for you personally, not for your people, not for the country that Shea Makinde is talking about now. You know, I think it's an afterthought, really, because it was connivance of their part of the elites to probably destroy the PDP, and that's absolutely their business. But it's really unfortunate for us as a country, because we in the APC are not happy that PDP has been destroyed, really, because we came from opposition stand. We were in opposition. We did everything in this country to ensure that the opposition thrived, and we thrived, you know, and we came to government. So it's sad that they're doing these kind of things to us as a nation, because they're not doing it for, you know, for PDP. They're doing it for this country, against the country, and all well-meaning Nigerians should rise up against anybody that is trying to destroy democracy, because they are the ones who are trying to destroy democracy, certainly, and it's sad.
Well, there are those who would, you know, take what you just said now, Mr. Ali, with a pinch of salt, seeing that the president, it was last year, saying that, look, it is to my advantage that your party should not have, that the PDP, and he was talking about the PDP at the time, should not, you know, get their act together. So for when you now say that you are not happy about it, I assume you are talking about the...
C'est inutile.
S'il vous plaît, ne me tuez pas.
Tu survivras pour faire face à la justice au Japon. Lieutenant Tanaka, la mission est accomplie avec succès. Les explosifs sont sous contrôle.
Le Japon est en sécurité. Mission terminée.
Elle est trop forte.
Lieutenant Tanaka, les suspects se déplacent. Confirmez le contact visuel.
Objectif confirmé. J'entre.
Amenez les objets à l'intérieur rapidement. Tu es là. Ne la laissez pas approcher de la cargaison. C'est inutile.
S'il vous plaît, ne me tuez pas.
Tu survivras pour faire face à la justice au Japon.
But the president said, look, if you don't get your acts together, that's to my advantage.
Les explosifs sont sous contrôle.
Yeah, but that's you know, the opinion of Mr. President, but sadly he was joking, because, look, the president was coming from a background of opposition, and if, in their own wisdom, even if the president says so, of course it's the advantage of APC. But then, is it to the advantage of the country? No. We in the APC don't have plans to make this country as one-party state. No. And I'm confirming that to you. Not the president, not us in the party, not the leadership, not the leaders of the party. We don't want a one-party state. So the earlier... Look, let's go back to history. Now, what happened? What's the problem in PDP? If you remember very well, or Nigerians can remember, that what happened was during their convention in 2023, I think, coming to the election, when they decided, I mean, who gets the ticket, whether the North or the South, and so on and so forth. We saw it on pages of newspapers, on television. When Atiku Abubakar got the ticket, you know, he set up a committee to go and get the VP candidate for them. Somewhere along the line, they got Wike, they agreed on Wike, and then his wisdom changed to another person, so Wike went berserk. So that's their making, not our making, not the making of APC, absolutely. So, but then of course, if they decide to destroy their party on their own, yes, it is to our advantage, but this is not the APC is not Nigeria. This country belongs to all of us. We never in the APC say that this country belongs to us. And we're not telling Nigerians that we're going to live for 60 or rule for 60 years, like the PDP said. No. If in the wisdom of Nigerians, come 2027, we are voted out, so be it. Because, as I said, this country belongs to all of us. So it is sad for us in the APC that PDP cannot get their acts together. Look at what the letter that came out from the INEC yesterday. What's our making? What's the making of APC there? They have factions. Remember, you know, Sule Lamido went to court. Remember, other people went to court. So many of them went to court. I mean, how, like, I know Sule Lamido very well. In fact, he's my uncle. Nobody in this country can convince or connive with Sule Lamido to destroy a PDP. No. So it's not our making, it's their making. And if in their wisdom decide to do these kind of things for the country, it's sad, and I'm confirming to you, it's sad. We in the APC are not happy that there is no viable opposition in the country. I hope the ADC will get their acts together so that probably they replace the PDP.
Well, it's interesting that the perspectives are coming out this way, particularly staying with the conversation around Governor Makinde for a little further. There are those who are wondering how come he decided to come out now, because for a very long time, a good number of people have been expecting that at least he is one of the strongest PDP governors that is still standing. And a good number of people expected that he'd have been speaking a lot more before now. And that now, starting, talking now with a media chat with many people would always allude to a governor Wike at the time, and even now minister, something that he does from time to time, using that same template to speak to the country. So on the one hand, can you read politically any reason why he is doing the talking now? And then to those who allude to the fact that maybe he just wants to begin to redeem himself, apologizing and all of that one. So what are your thoughts?
You still come back to connivance of the elites. It was so convenient for Makinde to even propose a ministerial candidate, person from his side. He is a member of PDP, contested in PDP, defeated us, APC in the election, and then supported President Tinubu in his wisdom. You remember the G5 thing, and he was part of it. So probably it was all the struggle, politically speaking, for the soul of the PDP. So he wanted, and there were also rumors that he wanted to be presidential candidate of the PDP. I'm sure you must have heard of that. So to me, it's an afterthought, and that Sheikh Makinde probably, just like what you said, probably is regretting, he's trying to redeem his image, but then he should have come out clean. Then all dear Nigerians, I am sorry I was part of this whole contraption that destroyed the PDP or was trying to destroy the PDP. Now I'm retracing my steps. That look, we will do everything possible. And then look, if not for the selfish interest of him, why can't he talk to the wicked group? Why can't they agree on themselves? Because look, when they went to INEC, remember, the INEC called them last week trying to see if they could reconcile them, which we thought is not the work of INEC. But still, in the wisdom of INEC, decided to call them together. When they came out of the meeting, the Kabiru faction said one thing and the other faction was saying another, which means they are simply not interested to fix their party. So Sheikh Makinde, because and look, what has, if you remember the press conference, he was showing the first contract that he made $1 million. What has that got to do with us in APC? Or what has that got to do with people in this country? He's the governor of Oyo State. He should continue to be governor of Oyo State. And look, I hope someday, one day, they either all of them go to ADC, but the way things are going, if amongst themselves they don't come together to concede, some concession is needed if they truly want democracy in this country to thrive, or the opposition. Some of them need to concede certain things so that the PDP can come back. And honestly, it is sad in this country that PDP looks to be dying. And I hope and I pray the ADC will get their acts together too. And we need a viable opposition, because you need to in favor of the APC, that opposition parties don't get their acts together. You have also said something very important. The absence of an opposition party is not very helpful to the democracy we're practicing in Nigeria. So while holding on to what the president said, that look, if they don't get their acts together, that's to my advantage. Is there anything you think that a ruling government, the APC, can do to help Nigeria get a stronger opposition party? Well, you see, it is not in the place of APC to make the opposition parties come together. Remember, the APC is a conglomeration of ANPP, CPC, ACN, New PDP, and so on. We came together and formed the APC. So if probably PDP is dying, why can't they go on my advice? Why can't they go and join the ADC? Because look, those in the ADC or in the PDP are respected Nigerians. We respect them. These are people that have contributed in one way or the other for the development of this country. But then we in the APC is none of our business, absolutely, to make sure they get their acts together. But it is sad because when we were coming together as APC, some didn't want to come, some came, and so on and so on. So we somehow, somewhere along the line, we conceded there were so many concessions for us to come together for the betterment of this country. So I call on my brothers and sisters in the PDP and AC and PDP, ADC to act, put the acts together. Probably my advice is PDP should just merge with ADC. We are not afraid of any opposition because, as I said, this country belongs to all of us. The country does not belong to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, does not belong to me, does not belong to you. It belongs to all of us. But now President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is holding the reins of the office in trust on our behalf. If in the wisdom of Nigerians, come 2027, any other contraption comes to defeat us, we shall accept that as the choice of Nigerian people so that we can move this country forward.
Honorable Farouk, I want to get your thoughts on what's happening in Rivers State. The defection to the All Progressives Congress. Of course, we've seen Governor Fubara moving now to the APC, and a lot of people. It's been interesting to watching what happened in the National Assembly yesterday. Some people who were hitherto loyal to Minister Wike, we are seeing them moving towards Governor Fubara. And then, of course, a lot of conversations right now about how Governor Fubara now has the backing of the presidency and may have secured himself a second term in office. What's your take on Rivers State politics and how the leadership, he has officially been named as the leader of the party in Rivers State. Was this the right move for him? And your take on what's going to happen next in Rivers State politics, especially as regards the FCT minister, Mr. Wike?
Well, I'm sure even the Wike knows very well that the leader of APC in Rivers State as of today is the governor. It's not about River State. In all the states of the Federation, the governors, sitting governors, are the leaders of the parties. So, and I'm sure Wike knows that, and I don't think he's going to contest about that. And to me, I think the right thing was done. I mean, Fubara did the right thing because he was left in the cold. I mean, nowhere to hang on to. And in his wisdom, decided to join the APC. So we're happy he's there. And we hope somewhere along the line, they will reconcile between the godson and the godfather. They reconcile. But then, the interest of us is not Wike or Fubara, but the people of River State, across party lines, that anything that will bring peace to Rivers, that's what we want as a party. And then, yes, the leadership of APC, the presidency, and all of us have recognized Fubara as the leader of the party in the state. But that does not mean Wike is not also the leader. I am from Jigawa State. We have a governor in Jigawa State City who is the leader of the party, but I am also a leader of the party. I mean, when the governor is going to address the gathering while I'm there, he will call me as Honorable Farouk Adamu Aliyu, our leader. I mean, but that does not mean, truthfully speaking, I am the official leader. Because that's the leader, based on age and pedigree and so on and so forth. So I'm sure also in River State, the official leader of the party is Fubara. And I'm sure Wike is not going to contest about that. He knows that. But that does not take the position of him being a leader among other leaders of the party in River State. And also in Nigeria. Because Wike is not just leader of River State, also in Nigeria. That if he decides to join APC.
The picture you painted.
Yeah.
Honorable, the picture you painted of you being a leader in Jigawa State,
yes, I am.
and then the governor being, that's easy because the relationship hasn't been so frosty. You didn't have a state of emergency. No one was trying to impeach the governor. So a lot of things have gone under the bridge that
no, but Kayla, you see, now as River State presently constituted, officially in APC we don't know Wike. Wike does not join our meetings, neither in Abuja or in River State. So Wike is not a member of APC. We are talking about him being a leader because of the former governor. Rotimi Amechi, former governor, is certainly a leader in River State, and so on. So today, as APC presently constituted, Wike is out of the equation in River State. Until such a time when he joins, then he could be one of the leaders. But the official leader of APC in River State today is Fubara. Simple, and I'm sure Wike knows that. So whether it's simple or not simple, that's it. Yes, there was no state of emergency in Jigawa State, but in Rivers also is the problem of Fubara and Wike. But now Wike and Fubara has joined us. Wike has not joined us. So there are certain discussions that we will do with Fubara, will not do with Wike, because the internal things we're discussing on how to win election will not bring Wike into it, because as of today, he's not officially part of APC. But if in his wisdom, just like the way he helped us to win Rivers, if in his wisdom also he decides to help us, yes, we welcome that.
That's a very interesting point. I want to get your thoughts on the relationship between the State Assembly, Martin Ameule, and Fubara, and of course other members of that State Assembly. What advice would you have for them? Because some people say that relationship is still very frosty.
Well, my advice is for Fubara. Certainly he has to concede so many things to them, because he cannot be the leader without the State Assembly. So he needs to work out whatever, and then we in Abuja too, we're trying to see how we can put them together and work out certain things and so on. And I hope probably someday, somewhere along the line, maybe Wike will join APC. So when he joins APC, probably the situation will be solved once permanently. But as at now, Fubara as the leader of the party, Fubara as the governor should talk to the speaker, members of State Assembly, try to woo them to his side as the leader of the party in our state, in the state.
And finally, my final question for you this morning is actually away from all of this and onto something that we heard that many members of the, well, we call you people the CPC bloc, but you're very loyal to the late President Muhammadu Buhari. This book that's been written, From Soldier to Statesman, by Dr. Charles Omole, I hope I got his name correctly, this book has been getting a lot of ripples, and there's a rumor out there that people like yourself and other members of that CPC bloc who are loyal to the late former President Muhammadu Buhari are not happy with some of the revelations made by the late President's wife in that particular book. Have you read it, and what are your thoughts on it?
No, I've not read it, but I've gotten some synopsis. First of all, I wasn't at the book launch because I didn't believe the gentleman who wrote the book. I have never seen him. In fact, when I spoke to some of our colleagues who worked much closer with the president officially, some of them said, look, we always spoke with him on phone. We don't know him. So in her wisdom, she decided to do what she did. And I don't want to comment on, publicly. But I have my reservations, which we as the family of the Buhari, we're trying to see how we can put these things behind us. But certainly, we are very sad with certain revelations that there are certain things that, should be kept in the family, in each family, because in every family, there are certain things that should be kept. And then, look, this gentleman is dead. So he's not even there to say whether what they are saying is true or not. So we leave it there. May his soul rest in peace. And then, this life is transient. Those of us that are alive are going to join him also. So I call on Aisha, Buhari, or whoever, anybody that thinks ill of our leader, our father, to please think that there is tomorrow. They will also die someday. So it's sad. It's really sad. We're not happy. That's true. No right-thinking member of the Buhari group should be happy with that book. So I'm officially telling you, yes, we're not happy with the book.
That in any way also suggests that the Buhari bloc is not happy with the fact that the president, was there at the book launch. Does that in any way suggest any kind of a frosty or cautious relationship with the president? Is the Buhari bloc cautious with the president in the APC?
Well, let me tell you. The president never knew the content of the book. 90% of those people sitting at the book launch didn't know the content of the book. I can mention, I don't want to mention names, but they were, this? You know, so look, nobody knew what's on the book. And then look, President Tinubu has done everything for late President Buhari while he was alive and when he died. And then look, I am one of the faces of Buhari in this country, and I am loyal to Tinubu because Tinubu has done everything humanly possible, from working to ensure President Buhari got the ticket in Lagos 2014. I was the returning officer of Buhari that time. I know what Tinubu did that time, and then I know also what Tinubu did to ensure that he got the presidency, and then I know everything, all the steps that Tinubu did. And then you remember when our leader died, what Tinubu did. From the time he became president up to today, Tinubu never traveled for more than 100 kilometers by road, but he did that because of Buhari. He did everything. And then most of us, and not all of us, of course, but most of us in the CPC bloc, still, we have allegiance to our president. And you remember 2 months ago, we a delegation was led by Al Makura, who is the leader of our bloc, on a courtesy call to Mr. President, where we vouched our loyalty to him and to AP.